Classpad.net has a couple of lessons called Math in Motion 1, Math in Motion 2, and Math in Motion 3. It shows a couple of pursuits there. You see two little cars chasing after each other, one after another, two police cars. Let me show you how those are made. So I am in Classpad.net. I'm going to click on some empty space here and open up a graph window. Here's my graph sticky. Move the graph sticky up a little bit. I'm going to change and turn off the axes by clicking those three dots at the top. Turn off my grid, so all that is all off. I've got a nice plain empty screen. First thing I want to do is add a couple of images. So in this gray box, I will click and it opens up your desktop. I've got car number 1. And then I will also add car number 2 by doing the same thing, just clicking on the image, clicking on car number 2, go ahead and OK both of those. So I want the dimensions of these cars to be the same, so the first thing I'm going to do is change the height of both of them to be the same. They'll both be 10 units in width and height. So now what I want to do is I want to separate the two cars because the two cars are too close to that, and I want to zoom out. So I'm going to zoom out just by scrolling backwards. So I want to change where the first car is located. I'm going to locate the first car at y equals 10. That moves it up. Second car I want to separate a little bit. I'm going to go y equals -5. So right now these two are going to be racing either towards each other or away from each other. So first thing I wanted to do is make sure that I was zoomed out enough to be able to do this. I'll zoom out some more. Or you could zoom in a little bit more just to get a closer look to what's going on, depending on how long you want the race to be. Now I want to be able to manipulate or watch these two run or chase after each other. So I'm going to add a function that I will then not graph. So I'm going to hide this function. This creates a slider. So y equals a creates a slider, and you see the slider here at y equals 1. When I click the slider and press the play button, you'll notice the slider is moving up. Or if I use the slider itself, I can move it down. But it gets a little distracting that, and my cars aren't moving. So what I want to do is I want to hide that graph. So I just clicked on the side in the blue. I'm going to press hide, so I can't see it. But the slider will still be there, so will the y equals. What I want to do is change the center of the x. I'll make the top car go to this at a speed of 2a. And the bottom car, I will make that one go at a speed of 3a plus 2. So that way it'll give the second car a little bit of a head start. If you would like to see a start line and a finish line, you could add start and finish lines by just going to your function, saying x equals 0. Say that would be your start line. And then the next one I would make would be, let's make the race go to x equals 10. Again, I'm zoomed in pretty far. You could also shrink the size of the car. So let's shrink the size of the cars. I'm going to shrink the car down to a unit of 2 by 2. Let's see how small that gets. Not too bad. I could always zoom in. Second car, I'll do the same thing. I'll make it a 2 by 2. So now I've got 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. Now I want this race to start at 0, so I'm going to move my slider. So my slider is not going to have negative time. Negative time doesn't make sense in this situation. I want it to start at 0, so I'm just going to slide all the way over to 0 and see that I've got a situation where one car has a bit of a head start on the other car. And now I'm going to go ahead and press play. Now when I teach this unit, I make sure my students come in and all they see is this image playing, and let them start asking the questions. On the side, we can create questions. So if you open up a sticky and you ask them, what do you notice, what do you wonder? You can do that at this sticky right here. Ask them about when will these meet, when will they cross, If you want to make different types of situations, you can always change the speed. You can change the direction. If you want them coming towards each other, you can make them a certain distance apart. For example, let's say I wanted to give this one is going to start at 10, but is going to go in the opposite direction. So now when I come down here and press play, the car is starting at 0. Now they're coming towards each other. And you ask those same questions. Where are they coming from? When will they reach? How far apart are they? When do they meet? All sorts of great mathematics. The tools you can have here are endless. The size of the pictures you can always manipulate to be different. So that's just a quick lesson on how do you make these little math in motion videos for your students to use and for you to actually engage in some wonder.